Okay, so basically with the children, it affects them obviously.
Yes.
But how do they actually cope with this situation and being in this environment, this hostile environment?
Yeah, as I said earlier about children being very different, you know, they have different coping strategies. So when we talk about coping strategies, there's healthy ones and there's unhealthy ones. You know, the ones where children have got a lot of resilience, so they know what is the best way. Sometimes they don't know that it's best way, but then it's a healthy way. So they use drawing to express their emotions. They go to sports or they do dancing.
Okay.
So there's a lot of other things that they can work on, or they talk to someone. They talk to their grandfather, their grandparents, or uncle or aunties who's outside the family. So that it's just the idea of expressing themselves in a more healthy way. But there's also an issue where it's unhealthy.
Correct. What is the unhealthy way?
So in an unhealthy way is that when they start to exert their emotions. And I said there's internal and external behavior. So when you do internal, we can say that, you know, they start to binge eating. You know, they want to keep their emotions.
Sort of.
So they eat a lot, or sometimes they starve themselves to death. So there have been cases where they do that, you know, because they don't know how to express their emotions. And another way is when we talk about externalizing, is the kicking, punching, aggressive behavior, running away, and even to a point where they cut themselves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's very detrimental to a child.
And obviously it will affect them in adulthood, or even if they do reach adulthood, obviously, like you said, sometimes there's suicide involved. So what can obviously the adults do, especially to help these children, or people surrounding them? Maybe like you said, if the aunts know about it, or whoever else. How do we help these children?
All right. So the best way to help them is to actually, they need an outlet to express themselves. So just, you know, just inform them, reaffirm that you're there to listen, and always be calm when they talk about their issues. Do not judge them in any way. So always listen, and also making sure that there's a role model with them. So role model, so that they can learn that violence is not the way.
You're right, because like the role model, which is the parents, that's taken away from them.
Taken away,
right? So anyway, we have another flash on what happens to children in abusive homes. Let's take a look. Well, obviously some tips there for people to help with children, things to do if they're in an abusive situation. But I wanted to ask you one more question. Obviously, the wife is abusing the husband. How likely is it that the wife is also abusing her kids?
As any other abuse cases, it is very likely that, you know, once they've already start to exert that emotion, you know, it feels good, you know, expressing or kicking, you know, and then that express of emotion, then maybe the first person would be the husband. But then if what happens if the husband's not around, then it can actually happen to the child. So it's very likely that it can actually happen. It can lead on to its hurting the child.
It might not be in all cases, but it's very likely.
Very likely.
And just a quick one again. So if that happens, like husband, of course, getting abused, they don't retaliate. But what if when their child is involved? How important is it for them to report it? Right.
It is very important. Get help. Get counselling help. You know. You do not, you know, when you sometimes when the husband does not want to report, it's okay for the husband to say it's only happening to me, but you do not want to point where it's happening to the child and it's already too late.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you so much again, Miss Ida, for helping us understand a little bit more on how children are affected by this as well. Well, basically, this was an extended version on Bella Mas today about abusive situation in home where husbands are abused. So do watch us on www.tonton.com.my for the full interview with all our guests today. Thank you.